what a spot to be in to have to, feel like you either got to just turn away from that endorsement money or, give lip service to something like that.
It's the PokerNews Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 913th episode of the PokerNews Podcast. I'm Chad Holloway at the Chamada Prestige Resort and Casino in Cyprus. The World Poker Tour event here is just finishing up. You can't see it, but I'm on a balcony overlooking it right now. The winner has just been crowned. I'm going to talk about that later on this episode, as well as some other tournament winners. I caught up with Matt Savage, who gave us a scoop on one of the bounties coming up for October's Bay 101 Shooting Star. We're going to talk about the recent tournament winners from the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Open. I've got an interview with the reigning World Series of Poker Main Event champ and Poker Hall of Famer, Michael Mizrachi, and I'm going to send it back to Mike Holtz in the studio in Las Vegas with a special guest, two-time bracelet winner, Eric Baldwin, a.k.a. Basebaldy's, coming into the studio, and they're going to talk two big topics. They're going to talk about the WPT Global's pay to see the hole cards debacle that is sweeping and dominating the poker discussion on social media, and also Matt Savage's tweet where he basically says, you know what, be careful when you use official terms during the course of conversation because you might get penalized. That one was highly scrutinized as well. So I'm going to send it back to those guys in the studio to discuss a little bit more. And I also want to say before we get into it, right before I started recording this, I learned that Poker Hall of Famer Jack McClelland has passed away. I'm going to get into that more and properly pay tribute to him next week's episode, but I just wanted to acknowledge it here. Jack was what I would consider a friend. We would text often. I've done some interviews and articles with him over the years. Just seen him at the 2025 World Series of Poker about a month ago at the Poker Hall of Fame bounty. And very, very sad to learn of his passing. And we'll get into that next week, but I just wanted to acknowledge it here. It's going to be a good episode. It's going to be a little scattered here and there, but I'm going to kick it off with Michael Mizrachi, who joined me for a conversation about the upcoming World Tournament of Slots. Now, I know what you're thinking, poker, slots, a little bit different, but hey, when it's the reigning World Series of Poker Main Event champ who's going to the Bahamas in October for this, what's going to be a fun event, and fingers crossed, I'm going to find my way down there too. MommaGrinder is going to be there. Yeah, it should be a good time. So anyways, I wanted to get him on the show to talk about the World Tournament of Slots. PokerNews is going to be giving away a seat to said tournament. Only 500 players in this tournament, with first place being $1 million. So you could have a 1 in 500 shot at $1 million. I'm going to tell you how you can get in on that here in just a little bit. And check it out. This is my interview with Michael Mizrachi. I am with my guest, the one, the only, the world champ, the Poker Hall of Famer, Michael Mizrachi, the Grinder. Thank you for taking the time to chat with us here on the PokerNews Podcast.
Thank you, Chad, for having me. Appreciate it.
I just missed you. I'm actually in Cyprus right now, and I know that you were here, but unfortunately we missed each other, so we couldn't do this in person.
Yeah, I stepped out for a little bit. I played 2 events. My son wanted to go on a little vacation. He's like, Dad, I live in Cyprus, but we're doing the same thing every day. Can we I know I love poker. I love this, but I want to do something different because I'm on vacation. It's my first time I get to experience him traveling with him. So I was like, all right, let's get out of here, son. I've done enough poker. Had a great 3 months. You deserve it.
We're going to talk about the World Tournament of Slots in just a moment because that is a big story. I'm probably going to see you down in the Bahamas. But before I do, I want to ask, how's life been like since the World Series of Poker? It's been about a month now since you were crowned the champ. How's it been for you?
I'll tell you the truth, Chad. It still didn't hit me yet. It's kind of crazy because I think I just keep playing and playing and playing. I think when I get this break, I already had like maybe 4 or 5 days off, then I'll start feeling it more. Because when I got back to Miami, I just went straight to a cash game and then to another cash game. So it just didn't stop. It didn't hit me yet. So once I settle in and where I want to be, maybe to take some time off, then I think it will settle in and then I'll be on cloud 9.
Yeah, I actually seen you in some of these cash games. You were on the Venetian Poker Live, and you got to play with Martin Kabrhel there. And I was curious because, he was a breakout star, if you will, of the summer too. You're the main event champ. What was it like getting to play with Martin Kabrhel?
I mean, it was an amazing lineup. Him, everyone. they got other guys, a few other guys, John Isaacs, Sean Robert, you got Brian Oaken, we got Eric Washington, the guy Roy, but it was an amazing lineup. Everybody thought I was going to punt because I just won the main event, but I don't get the name Grinder for no reason. I just sit there and I just knew like I was gonna lose a lot of squid games, but it turned out after both sessions I was the biggest winner twice, and I just kind of, I wouldn't say more ABC, but I just sat back and waited for good spots, waited for hands, and I just knew I could use that against him because he thought I was going to splash. So I was reading, the punt, is Mike going to punt or blah blah blah. I was like, all right, I got this.
I know that you've been super busy, as we mentioned. You haven't had time to process a lot, so you might not have the right answer or an answer for this question. But is there something for you after getting the WSOP main event, getting Poker Hall of Fame status? Like, do you still, you feel like you've reached the mountaintop, and then that's it? Maybe retire? Or are you like, no, I'm the grinder. I'm still going to be playing for years to come?
Definitely not retire. I got the World Tournament of Slots now in Bahamas. We got to conquer that championship, and then we topped it all off because actually I'm a big slot machine guy. I love slot machines, and that I do it outside of poker. I play a lot of slot machines, but I'm really good at it.
Well, let's talk about it. It's the World Tournament of Slots. It's going to be October 22nd through the 26th at the Atlantis on Paradise Island in the Bahamas, a place I'm very familiar with, right? They've had the World Series of Poker, Paradise there last year. It's going to return this year. The PCA was there for many years. I'm assuming you've been to the Atlantis before?
Yeah, who hasn't been to Atlantis? It's my backyard. It's my second home. I mean, I'm living in Miami. Fort Lauderdale. It's a 30, 40-minute flight for me. I've been there so many times, playing a lot of amazing events over there, poker events. I love the venue. A little expensive, but I love it. I mean, always have a great time. It's nice for kids, nice for family. Bahamas, it's always better than the Bahamas, what they say. And then it's just an amazing. I love Bahamas. I love it there, and I mean, it sometimes it feels like home because I live so close by, so I feel like I'm home anyways. And then they couldn't put it in a more amazing place, and that's a much needed vacation. So I can't wait to be there in October.
At the World Tournament of Slots, it's sponsored by MyVIP, run by Play Studios. So those who know the slots world, you might know them from My Vegas Slots, Pop Slots, myKONAMI Slots, and MGM Slots Live. And you mentioned it, you're a slots guy yourself, but I also know that, I think MommaGrinder might be as well. Is she going to be making a trip down there with you to the Bahamas?
Tell you the truth, MommaGrinder wakes me up every morning. I was like, well, Mom, let's go to the casino. Let's go play. I was like, oh, my God. All she wants to do is play slot machines. So I think this is going to be amazing for her. Some time off. I get to spend time with my mom, and what we love to do best is play slot machines. So hopefully it turns out great. She wins one of us win one of these tournaments.
I know the big tournament, there's going to be 500 players qualified and $1 million up top to the ultimate winner of the World Tournament of Slots. I mean, we don't get a lot of $1 million paydays in poker, let alone in tournament slot play, right? Like that's a good payday.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be quite an accomplishment to win that one, especially it's like the world, like the top. It's like the main event of slot machines. So that would be on my bucket list. So hopefully I can get into the tournament or my mom, and then we take it down. It'll be cool.
I say that they're not just giving you a seat into that because it is coveted. We are going to give away a seat here at Poker News, which I'm going to talk about here in a minute. But there is going to be like some sorts of special events, right? People are going to get the opportunity to rub elbows with you, so to speak.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, of course. And hopefully I win that seat because I need my seat into it. Because if I get in, they're in trouble because I could click.
It's the Bahamas, of course. Hopefully you do get in the tournament, but even if you don't, like, there's lots of things to do. Are you the type who's going to go out to the beach, go to the water park, anything like that? Good restaurants?
I don't know about the beach yet because I still have the dad bod, but but we're gonna get there. I have 2 months to train, so it looks like I'll be on the beach a lot. Don't worry, I'll get there. And then I'm gonna enjoy my time. The food, I love the Bahamian food. I love the Bahamian people. It's always an amazing experience every time I go there. I've said it's always better than the Bahamas, so I can't wait to go.
I'll tell people real quick about the Poker News giveaway because, as I said, we are giving away a seat into the World Tournament of Slots. All you got to do is download myKONAMI, play some games, and we're going to have a social media post. You just need to comment on there what your favorite game is from myKONAMI, and then also why you deserve to go to the Bahamas. And we will pick somebody who is going to win a 4-night stay for 2 at the Atlantis Paradise Island, $500 airfare credit, 1 entry into the World Tournament of Slots, $500 food and beverage credit, 2 tickets to the awards gala dinner, access to the VIP hospitality lounge, where I'm sure you're going to be hanging out quite a bit, right? They're going to give you that VIP status.
Sure. Yeah. But my biggest thing right now, I got to get in that tournament. So, and I'm very competitive, so I need to get that seat. And maybe hopefully I win on Poker News. And it's not rigged, guys. If I do.
There you go. And let me ask you, we're going to have fun in the Bahamas. It's going to be a great time. I'll probably be there. We'll do another interview, I'm sure. But what's going to be coming up for you between now and the end of the year, poker-wise? Do you envision yourself, going back to the Bahamas for the World Series of Poker Paradise at the end of the year?
I'm definitely going for the World Series of Paradise. And I'm going to go, I think, I don't know, but we might probably go back to Vegas probably in a few weeks, just to see what's going out there. And I know I'm going to head out to probably Estonia to play the tournaments over there. And then I really don't have anything really set. I'm going to New York in a few days. And then I don't really have set. I just go what I feel. If I feel good about something, I'm going to go for it. And then I just played the high rollers at Onyx. It was an amazing experience. Rob Young did a wonderful job, and thank you guys. I mean, they had the best food, best dealers, great venue. It's an amazing experience, and I'm glad I went. And then I'm just looking forward to the next one. I really don't know my schedule. It's just day by day. That's the way I live. So I wake up next morning. If I want to go there, I'll go there. If I don't, I don't.
Well, I love it. Michael Mizrachi, thank you for taking the time to join me on the PokerNews Podcast to talk about the World Tournament of Slots, and I'll see you in the Bahamas.
Sounds good. See you soon, Chad. Thank you.
All right, Stephanie, here we are.
Here we are.
What was it like for you when you first walked into the World Tournament of Slots?
The room was breathtaking. It was set up so beautiful, and then realized, this is legit. This is really happening.
The energy was just palpable, and I was rooting for all of you.
Just brought great people together that otherwise wouldn't have met. This is the exact spot that I was sitting on the end machine in that last round. The second it was over and then that first popped up, and I was just I didn't know how to react. And then when I got down to the floor with everyone that was cheering me on and everything, they were just oh my gosh, you're in first right now. I just feel so grateful to have been a part of it. The trip alone was magical, but that grand prize has changed our lives forever.
Hey guys, Mike Holtz here replacing Chad Holloway for the week because foolishly for him, he's given me and Eric Baldwin here the keys to the kingdom. Like I said, Eric Baldwin, 2-time bracelet winner, 3-time ring winner.
I think so.
Millions of dollars in earnings.
Hey, thanks, man.
Sexual, used to do a bunch of baseball.
You know what? My biggest score the last 3 years came out of a pirate treasure chest. So it's good to hear that.
Did you hit the million?
And remember that I've won some stuff. I pulled $250,000 once.
$250,000, just a cool 250.
Yeah.
No big deal. No big deal at all. So we got 2 topics for the day. Major stuff going on here. We have the WPT Club WPT Gold and WPT Global allowing you to see the whole cards now if you pay a certain amount of money after the hands happened. And then after that, we're going to talk about a tweet from Matt Savage that's pretty interesting. And I think we'll have a good discussion. So what did you think about the Club WPT Gold situation? Have you you've looked into this, obviously?
I personally love the feature.
Interesting.
Have I told you about Phenom Poker?
No, tell us about Phenom Poker.
No, I do love it for that reason, because to me it's just absurd. It was one of those things when I heard it, I was just kind of what?
Yeah, no, exactly.
Really?
Yeah.
That fundamentally changes the game. And
completely.
Players are overwhelmingly not a fan of this. So, that's kind of a rough one.
Well, it's never. Have you ever heard of this happening before? I think it's the first time it's literally ever happened, right?
I've heard after the fact that maybe another WPT product offers it as well, and maybe some other kind of sites that are more into casino gamifying
Sure, yeah,
poker,
of course.
But this is the first time like a big poker brand has rolled something like this out, and I think with good reason.
Yeah, no, I think so too. So like, I'll give an example of how I was able to use this to exploit someone. So I played heads up the other day on there. I was playing like 10-20. And I had a guy who was clearly recreational, and we were playing him, trying to figure out like his patterns and everything. And this is the first day that this rolled out. And I saw it said reveal hand like $8 or something. It was like a decent amount of money. And I was like, what? That's crazy. I'll never do that. 40 hands later, he starts to raise. He started raising. He was making it 2.5x pre-flop. He starts making it 7x sometimes. And so one of the times I went, let me just see what's going on here. He had 9 deuce offsuit.
Okay.
So then every time he made it 7x, I made it 28 big blinds. He folded every time. So like for me, it was very useful, but like that's kind of crazy. Like it's literally changing the game.
Yes.
Because it almost makes it so, because you can't tell when another player's done it even. So you don't know if they've seen it or whatever. It doesn't say like hand revealed. Like I think
it does not alert you.
At least
Interesting.
I didn't see it, but I never saw it from him, and I did it several times, and nothing popped up.
Regardless, it completely changes the game. And then like if every time you make it 28, he starts looking at yours, then it opens it back up to the counter exploit.
100%.
It's just a mess. And
Yes.
Yeah, and all the rakes go into the house.
Yeah, so that's the part I think that's the worst. Like I think and let me think about that. Do you think it'd be okay if when you paid whatever the amount is, because it rises too. It starts at like I guess 0.75 of a big blind. I'm not sure about that number. And then it increases. So like the first time might have been 8 for me. Then it was 10, then it was 15, and then I think it was 20. So it's like $20. What's happening here?
Does it increase every time you use the feature, or does it increase with the size of the pot?
Every time you use the feature.
Every time
pot
you
size
use the
doesn't
feature,
matter.
huh?
So I would think for game fairness, it would have to incrementally change with pot size as well, and then also everyone would need to know when you did it, because it changes legitimately everything.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose you can do whatever you want. Like if that's your site and you want to make that decision, you do whatever you want. Like everyone's playing under the same rules.
Sure.
But I think it's just like a classic case of the site's incentives not being aligned with the players' incentives. You know, things like this happen. You see rake increases. You see bad ideas like this put into play. So yeah, it brings me back to Phenom Poker. Like it's truly first time ever where player incentives have become aligned with the site's incentives.
Sure, yeah, because the players are owners, right?
Yeah, through the player ownership model. And so it's part of the reason I truly believe in it. And but yeah, back to the question and topic. Yeah, this one, it's almost like annoying. Like, are you serious? Like we have to respond to this and deal with this. And it also never ceases to amaze me, like how many times an operator tries to pull something over on poker players. Like you're dealing with the wrong crowd. You know, you can pull stuff over on certain crowds, sure, and on certain poker players, but like we're battling each other heads up for fractions of a big blind and EV.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're scrutinizing every angle of stuff. So, you know, something like this, it's almost, it's like insulting. It's like a slap in the face.
I agree. And I think it's one of the things where it's like, and I personally have had great experience on Club WPT Gold. I've made a bunch of money on there. It's my site that I play on the most. I don't like this feature. I think it's overall bad for the game. I think maybe if they changed it a little bit, it could be okay. But like, I don't like it. I think it allows for anything where you can data, where you can pay to data mine everyone's information, basically. Like that's a slippery slope. Especially if you get, like, let's say you and I are playing heads up and you're a reg, you play cash heads up every day. So you're sitting down waiting for people to play against you. If I just get my friend to play you and then start to reveal the hands, and then you know what I mean? It's like, it's one of those things where like literally you can have somebody sharing information with everybody. You can group pull together to see, like, I mean,
you're right.
I'm not saying that's like something that's probably happening, but it's a potential, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. And you know, like I was saying, poker players are looking for every edge they can get. And so I think it would be foolish not to think that there's going to be groups of people like pooling data that they basically paid for.
Yeah, it's just a slippery slope. And it's like when WSOP.com had the situation this summer. And for the viewers at home, Eric and I are both very vocal, especially on Twitter, talking about things. Eric's always complaining about rake, you know, making sure we know, you know, because it's good. Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
And cheating, et cetera. So with the WSOP.com thing this summer where they just canceled the tournament and it paid out money in a crazy way, stuff like that. The one thing I'll say about the point you made about you can't pull the wool over the eyes, the problem is, like, most poker players, myself included, have little to no backbone when it comes to this stuff. So, like, I'll complain, but then it's like,
yeah.
I mean, for me, actually, I have stopped playing on WSOP.com for the most part.
Yeah.
But for all the other regulars who are making a bunch of money on there, they're just like, shit, like, this sucks. But it's like, I'm making money. So it's like, you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
And it's like, in a game that's so volatile and something where you need volume, and it's our job. So, like, we have to keep playing. And, like, if it's the best site to play on, it's like, it's really a weird scenario.
100%. Yeah, that's a great point. And poker, you know, it's a big world, but it's also a small world.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's people who are making money from, you know, various entities within the poker world. And so, you know, you criticize anything too hard, you're stepping on this person's toes or that person's toes. And it's all, you know, loosely connected, but behind the scenes. But you're right. You know, you go too hard and you run the risk of them saying you're not welcome to play here anymore.
Sure.
One thing that we do have going for us, like, the poker community, say what you will about it, but when we get wronged, you know, that's one thing that certainly unifies us in a hurry.
Yes.
So we do kind of have some leverage in that, as long as you go about voicing your displeasure in, you know, a reasonable manner. You know, if anyone were to ever start banning players for speaking their minds, I think they'd be really shooting themselves in the foot.
It would be crazy. I mean, the amount of backlash they would get. But it's interesting because you and I have a different take than I would think most poker players do, in that most poker players are recreationals. You know, they don't even know about most of the stuff we're talking about. So it's like, when something egregious happens, maybe 15% of a player base might be complaining, but it's like, does it even affect the site in the long run? Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. You know what I mean? I don't know if you looked at the WSP.com numbers, but it seems like they're still doing great, and they had a situation where they literally stole money from everyone. So, like, it's you know, it's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. It's one of the things we got to deal with, as if the gig weren't hard enough as it is.
No, and I think the solution is, and I thought Club WPT Gold would do this, is especially with Doug Polk, like, having someone, a player facing person who can explain to Twitter, to YouTube, like I'm working with them and we're doing this and that. And I think Doug even made a video about the pay thing.
Yeah,
I didn't watch it because I didn't do enough research because I'm an idiot. But I'm assuming he thinks it's a bad thing as well.
No, I did. I watched it, and he started out kind of like defending it, and then at the end kind of like revealed, like, no, actually, I think this is trash.
Yeah.
You know, the few bullet points that I'm sure all the ambassadors were like given, you know, like, can help prevent cheating. I don't know. I felt kind of bad that you know, they were expected to trot out a few of these reasons for defending the change. But no, Doug, to his credit, did come out against it. I saw him make a post since then that he is doing what he can to talk to people behind the scenes to get it changed back. But yeah, like, what a spot to be in, to have to, you know, feel like you either got to just turn away from that endorsement money, or, you know, like, give lip service to something like that.
Exactly. And I think one of the big problems is with, and not just in poker, but all businesses, is you get executives or you get higher ups in the company who are like, and I'm not saying this is Club WPT Gold by any stretch of the imagination. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But you get people making decisions who aren't talking to the poker players, who don't understand the game and how it works and what certain consequences of action can happen. And it happens in the real world with executives right now trying to implement AI, and it's like 95% of AI is failing in certain businesses, et cetera. So it's like, it's very similar. And I think every single poker site can benefit from having players who can speak to the community and who really believe their product, like you with Phenom. I think it's a really good thing. And I think anytime you have a spokesperson that's a player that plays all the time and really truly believes what they're saying and can make suggestions and come back, I think that's where that's what makes a poker site truly great, is if they can take feedback and give the players what they want, because incentives need to be lined up more than they are now.
And that's a really good point. You know, with a lot of these companies, you know, there might be one or two poker players in there that are helping them make decisions, but, you know, one or two poker players, they might have a view totally different than the poker community at large. Whereas a place like Phenom, a vast majority of the people working on the project full time are either current or former poker players.
Right.
And they've come out and stated that, like, maximizing profits is not RMO. They're literally trying to make the best product that the poker community wants. And so and you really see the difference. Like, you go on the Discord and you see everywhere from the developers to the people working full-time behind the scenes, they're interacting with the player community. They're taking feedback. They're taking suggestions. And
which is huge.
And it shouldn't be that refreshing, but it's refreshing to see. And they're making like real changes in real times, like with a A+ developer team. We've got like top-notch developers coming to Phenom asking if there's like availability to come like join the project.
That's pretty sick,
so
yeah.
it truly is. I would invite anybody to come check out the Phenom Discord and just kind of like click around and check out the vibe, because I'm a firm believer that we're truly building something better.
How do they find the Phenom Discord?
Just go to www.phenompoker.com and scroll to the bottom and click on the Discord link.
Okay, sure. Awesome. Sick. Yeah, no, that's good stuff, and it's always good when that happens. So second topic of the day, Matt Savage brought out a tweet. We're going to be showing that on the screen here, I assume, and basically said that if you speak about action, like if you speak an actionable thing like call, fold, if you say anything like that during a hand, you may be, or you will be made to do that action. So let's say I say like somebody bets, I'm like, oh, I have to call my friend. Matt Savage is saying you have to call now. You know what I mean? So what do you think about that? And did I explain that correctly?
So this one almost got me, Mike. Like, I think when I first saw this, I was in like doom scroll mode.
Oh, yeah.
And then my initial reaction was another one, like eye roll, like, come on, we got to deal with this. And so I, turns out incorrectly, assumed that this was some type of new rule change. And, my initial...
This has always been in, right?
This is apparently a 20-year-old rule. But like poker players, we don't necessarily like to be told what to do as a group. So I think a lot of people saw it and they thought it was a new rule change. And we were being told, we can't be as social as we want to be at the poker table.
Yeah, it's not good.
Hence the backlash. So today I sat down with the tweets and I was like, I didn't want to do it. I'm like,
yeah, sure. Yeah, of course.
But then I start digging into it. And it turns out this rule's been on the books for 20 plus years. And it's there for a purpose. So I guess the reason Matt posted this tweet was whatever event he was at, there was a situation where a player said something with the word call in it, not intending to call.
Yep.
The dealer heard call, said it was a call. The other player in the hand thought he said call, tabled his hand.
Sure.
And so in that case, when the floor gets called over, you've got a mess on your hands, right?
Of course, yeah.
And so I think this rule was designed to address that situation. And if you think about it, like there's a lot of angles that could be introduced. I'm not sure if there's a better version of this rule, but apparently every time you say something like bet, raise, call, or fold as part of your speech, if there were a discrepancy and the floor had to be called over, it's within their right to rule that you said that word. So I think a lot of the backlash maybe was unwarranted. I'd have to look back at the tweet and see, how Savage kind of formed it. If he was kind of like looking for this backlash or how it was presented.
Savage likes to get in a little controversy here and there,
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, it's hard to get poker players to really care about the rules.
Yeah.
So, sometimes you got to tip your cap to a little engagement farming to start some discussions.
Without a shadow of a doubt. And I actually agree with you. I agree with Matt too, actually. I think that this is a good rule and I think that it prevents angle shooting. I think you can have situations where people could use that without this rule. They could say things like, oh, I could call, I could not, you could emphasize certain words a little more, you know what I mean? And like, oh man, I need to fold my laundry. You know what I mean? Like you could certainly exploit it. I think it's actually a good rule. I think it's weird because it just feels so weird to make a guy put money in when he didn't mean to say it or whatever, but it's a rule that's in place to prevent angle shooting and to prevent angle shooting. So I think it is a good rule. And I've seen this happen a few times at Cash. I can't remember the exact scenarios, but I've seen this happen. And I've seen it happen in tournaments where, or listened to it happen where nothing happens. The dealer doesn't say anything. The players don't say anything, but someone's like, oh, did you say call? Did you do this? And, so it's a weird situation. I think if we all just err on the side of caution and don't say, or for example, I can remember one actually. I was in a hand and it's on me. And I was talking to the guy next to me, and I was telling a story of a hand that happened earlier, and I was like, yeah, and then I was all in. And I was like, oh, you know, like, so it's a weird situation.
And Matt clarified, he's like, look, vast majority of the times, no floor is going to come over and hold you to that if it was just said in regular speech.
Yep.
So I think the rule is not there to give floors some kind of crazy authority where they're going to go around holding people to actions they didn't intend. The rule is there for a scenario like that where it got misinterpreted by both the dealer and the other player as just a way to rule in that terrible scenario that would come up.
So let me ask you this, because I ran into another situation. I played the Arizona State Championship at Talking Stick, which, by the way, Arena Poker Room, incredible. Have you been?
It's been a while, but yeah, I enjoyed my experience.
Were you were at the new location where it is now, or?
It was at Talking Stick.
Apparently, I've never. This is the first time I've been. Apparently, it was in another location a few years ago, and it flooded. I'm not sure the timeline, really? And so now they have it. It's a giant room. It's like gigantic.
Okay, I don't think I've spent time there.
Bro, it is amazing. Like the service, you click for food, they're there in 2 minutes. The menu's affordable. It's good food. They have healthy options. I got Mongolian beef, double beef, $17.
Whoa.
And it was delicious. Like really good stuff, you know. And if you go to the Win, and I love the Win, that's a $43 order. You know
100%.
I mean? So that was great. The dealers were fast. Their pitch was good. I didn't see any exposed cards. Some of them were a little sassy, but amazing poker room. But it did encounter a situation, and it's so weird to me because like I play majority online, right? I play a lot of live, but a majority online. And sometimes you get in these situations live where you just don't encounter that's online. So for example, this is what occurred. I'm in the 1 seat, dealer's next to me, and the 9 seat has his chips lined up in a way where they're like I'm over there, they're like this. So they're and then he takes his cards and pulls them back here.
Gotcha.
So he was under the gun, first to act. I'm next to act. And I look over. I don't see any cards. And so I go to put in a raise. And as I put in the raise, he puts out a raise at the same time. He has cards hidden behind there. So now it's a situation where I don't know what to do. Like, do I say like, oh, I didn't see that? And then like, you know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
I hate those spots.
Because it's like now I'm revealing the strength of my hand might not be that good, but now it turns into this weird meta, almost like what we were talking about with revealing cards, where now the meta is, now am I supposed to bluff raise this guy? You know what I mean? Like, am I supposed to, you know what I mean? So I never know what to do in situations like that.
And then when you go post flop, you've got like a UTG1 range, opening range versus a UTG2 opening range.
Yeah,
so it's just a funny thing with like, both completely linear, similar ranges.
100%. And so there's a lot of things like that happen in live poker where like I might see an edge of a card and I call it out. I don't know what it is. It's like, could be
I came up with a new policy on that. You know when you'll like say you saw something, but you're not 100% sure, but you saw something. And you know how a lot of times you'll get like talk back from either players or a dealer like, yeah, what
almost
was
every
it?
time, yeah.
Which sucks. So my new policy on that is if you know if it was a face card or not a face card, just go with that.
Oh,
because
I like that.
That should be enough. Because
100%.
information is information. So just say not a face card or face card.
100%. But that's actually really good. I like that because multiple times I've said like, I think it was like a 5, 6, 7, or 8.
Yeah.
And then they flip it over and it's a 9. And everyone's like, you didn't fucking see that card. You know what I mean?
You knew damn well it wasn't a queen.
Yeah. So, then you run in a situation where now I've got to play the hand differently in my head. Like if I don't say anything or if I do, it's like, if you get to keep that card, now I'm like, it changes everything. It makes me, now I got to think about other stuff. Now I got to be worried about is the dealer's pitch. So interesting stuff. But yeah, I think overall we can agree, decent rule. Just probably, don't abuse it. And I got to admit, like I was starting to get worked up and kind of take the other side. But then once I calmed down and kind of like read between the lines, I do think I haven't put a lot of thought in if the rule could be improved, because obviously poker's a social game and we want people to feel free to, have a little gamesmanship and be like, I can't imagine folding this hand here. Like it's cool to be able to say shit like that and play some cowboy poker. Oh, I love it.
And you don't want recreational players coming into the tournament and worried like, oh, I can't use A, B, and C word that is natural for me to use.
Course, yeah.
I might be held to something. So I don't know if there's room for improvement on that rule. But, there's a good chance there was a lot of thought put into it, and that was the best thing that could be come up with as well. Because there are situations in poker that, no matter how well you write out the rule, there's always going to be, like it's going to be tough to make
some
everything
gray
perfect.
area, et cetera. Yeah, and I give it up to the floor and the dealers everywhere. It's a tough job, and you're dealing with a bunch of poker players who are all angry and smelly, and yada yada. So I get it. It's an extremely hard job, and that rule's in place just to give them some way to be like, look, man, it's a rule. I'm sorry.
And believe me, I'm always on the side of like not giving any authority to anyone but myself
me too.
as possible.
Yeah. But we get all the authority, though. We are the authority figures. I know what happened, Floor. Let me tell you. To the dealer, they love that.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, good ruling. Let me ask you this, because we are running out of time here on the Poker News Podcast. Phenom Poker, you want to give us a plug? You want to talk about it? How do the people get in there? Do they got a code? Is there some sort of?
Come check us out. Play.phenomppoker.com. Use referral code basebaldy, and you'll get a 200% first time deposit bonus up to 4,000 USDT.
That's crazy.
So there's some really, really cool aspects to the site.
What? That's crazy.
There's some amazing aspects to the site. It's been growing like mad since the WSOP. Like I said, there's a player ownership model that's achieved through an ERC20 token for the crypto heads out there. And it's been steadily growing, and tournaments are just starting to be released with a much bigger daily tournament schedule. We also have an amazing player referral program. You hear all these people saying code this, code that.
Yeah.
There's a reason. They're making money off those
They're
codes.
making crazy money.
With Phenom, every player gets a code. So you create an account, you get your own code. You get people to sign up with your code, tell a couple buddies that are looking for a new place to play. You get a percentage of their rake on the site for life. And you can get that paid in the Phenom token. So you even get a couple of buddies to sign up with your code. All of a sudden, you're accumulating an ownership stake in the site. And I'm telling you, it's better.
So just the tournaments. What's the buy-in range? Because for me personally, I'm kind of interested in that. I knew it was just cash, but I didn't know they had tournaments now.
Yeah, they're just rolling out, and it's going to be everything. It's going to be comprehensive from low stakes to high. And super exciting time over there. And like I was talking about the developer team, like they're building this thing from scratch. So it's not like they're taking old, antiquated software and trying to patch it up and fix it and stuff.
Yeah.
They're building this from scratch. And I've been with them over a year, and I've watched how everyone operates. And like it came from the beta testing days. It was pretty buggy. And slowly but surely, they're just ironing things out, making improvements. And it's really cool to be a part of and to see, and like they built it too, so they're going to be able to build on top of it. And
it's pretty sick.
Yeah,
and they got mixed games too, right? Like I've seen you stream. I think it was like 16 game mix or something insane.
Yes.
You and Kessler, the chainsaw.
Oh my god, that was so fun. I did a podcast with Alan where he was playing mixed on Phenom, and I was kind of like facilitating.
You were learning from the GOAT.
Yeah, it was so golden, man. And then before he left, he played Frank Sinatra My Way on my piano.
Oh my god. I can only get so hard, Eric.
It was unbelievable. But yeah, we've got over 25 plus variants of poker, more being added, double board bomb pots being added soon. Come check us out. And also though, I think we definitely should mention, RIP to one of the true GOATs, Jack McClelland.
Of course.
Just lost him yesterday, I think. And just for me personally, like a lot of my early successes in poker came at Bellagio, where Jack was the tournament director for a long time. And you want to talk about a like personable guy, like he's
the best.
Oh
yeah,
great with all different types of people. There's so many Jackisms that I remember. He'd announce the final table, and he'd like give the seat number, chip count, and like where they were from, and then he'd get to the 9 seat and he'd be like, and in the 9 seat with the rest of the chips, and it's just stuff like that I remember.
Yeah, and then, and you played with him a bunch, I assume, as well.
A bunch, man. Yeah. And he played right until the end. I remember seeing him at the WPT Championship last year, like carrying along his oxygen, and you could tell, he wasn't doing great, but there was zero like victim on his face. he was just like going about his business the way Jack did and going to play the tourney, man. He just a legend.
Rest in peace to Jack, man, and an absolute legend. And yeah, I think that wraps us up here at the Poker News Podcast. Chad, by the way, didn't mention this, but he's like in Cyprus or something. He's like enjoying.
Ooh.
Oh, so fancy, Chad. He's enjoying a vacation courtesy of Poker News. He's doing some stuff over there. No one really knows. But yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Hopefully, Chad will be back on for Mike Holtz and Eric basebaldy Baldwin. We'll keep a seat open for you.
Chad Holloway here at WPT Cyprus with Matt Savage, who is going to give us an exclusive, a reveal of an upcoming bounty at the Bay 101 Shooting Star. Now, this is one of my favorite events, October 24th through the 28th. It hasn't been around for what, like 5 years?
Has been at least 5 years on the World Poker Tour that it hasn't been there.
Yeah, one of my favorites because I had the T-shirts. You know, you get signed. It goes back to the early days. So tell us, who is somebody that's going to be there as a bounty?
Well, I have to go with somebody that's in the room today. His name's Steven Song. He's a WPT Prime Champion from Season 1 at the Wynn in Las Vegas, and we're excited about bringing that event back. So happy to have him. He's been one of the world's best players for a few years now, so excited to have him back on the felt at the World Poker Tour Shooting Star. And of course, that is my home casino from back in the day, so happy to be going back.
Are the T-shirts coming back?
The T-shirts are coming back. We're working on getting a deck of cards, too, and put everybody's name in there.
I love them. I have some of the old ones. All right, Matt, thank you very much.
You got it. I don't think Pat Lyons is going to make the cut this year, unfortunately.
Sorry, Pat. All right, I am here with Steven Song, WPT Prime Champion, who it was announced is going to be a first-time Shooting Star bounty at the upcoming WPT. Is that pretty exciting for you?
Yeah, super cool. I mean, it's something that, childhood me would be really proud of. So, yeah, super stoked for sure.
It was always one of my favorite events where they had the T-shirts. I don't know if they're going to do T-shirts for you guys, but like that's what I remember.
I heard they will. So, yeah, it'll be exciting, though, for sure.
What about playing an event like this, right? You got a big target on your back when you play something like this.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely changes the dynamic. It's going to be exciting. I don't know, like anything like to add spice into, I play this game a lot for, all the time. So, any excitement is pretty cool. So, yeah.
And you have played a WPT before where you didn't get eliminated. Not a lot of people can say that.
Well, WPT Prime, yeah. I still, that the WPT Main is still a goal, but yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Well, we'll see you in San Jose.
Yeah, see you then.
All right, we are back at the Chamada Prestige Casino Resort in Cyprus. And you just saw it there. I spoke with Matt Savage, who gave us the exclusive that Steven Song is going to make his way to San Jose, the Bay 101 Shooting Star, and for the first time ever be a Shooting Star bounty, which he's pretty excited about. So thought that was pretty cool that we got the scoop there and got to talk to Steven Song about it. I'm going to wrap up this episode with recent tournament winners presented by WPT Global. And since we are at the WPT, it's a good place to start. So the $3,500 buy-in WPT Cyprus Championship is taking place. It literally just finished minutes ago right in front of me. But before we get to that, there were a slew of side events that were taking place all week long. One of those was won by the Scottish poker pro Ludovic Geilich. Took down the $2,200 No Limit Hold'em Mystery Bounty for 56,000 euros. They also had Alt Dinesh taking down the $770 Win the Button tournament for 17,000 euros. And one of the bigger stories from the side events was that of Ilia Kitsbabahvili, who took down not one, but two titles in the early goings. Took down the $1,100 No Limit Hold'em Freeze Out, 139 players in that one, for 34,000 euros. And then just days later, ended up winning a second title, the $1,100 PLO Bounty, 137 players, 45 reentries, good for another 15,000 euros. As if that wasn't impressive enough, he also won the main event, the WPT Cyprus Championship, $3,500 buy-in, 775 players at this resort. There were some big names. Tony Dunst was here. Will Kassouf, you saw him in last week's episode. He sat down and joined me for a one-on-one talk. You had Ray Kartomi. Steven Song was here. Former WPT Prime champions. There was no shortage of tough players, but it was Ilia taking it down for his third title of the festival. This one good for $401,000 plus a seat into December's WPT World Championship at the Wynn, Las Vegas. I wanted to get an interview with him, but he doesn't speak a lot of English. But we did have some highlights from that victory. Check it out.
Hey everyone, I'm Tony Dunst alongside the newest WPT champion here at the WPT Cyprus Championship, Ilia Kitsbabahvili. Now, Ilia, congratulations. I read your largest tournament score before this final table was $7,700. So how does it feel to have this breakthrough score of over 400,000? Watching the final table, you seemed so studied and so prepared. And your preparedness really showed on the final table. You'll be joining us at the Wynn in Las Vegas in December for the WPT World Championship.
Las Vegas-ში პოკერის ტურნირის თამაში ჩემი ოცნება იყო იმ დღიდან როცა დავიწყე პოკერის თამაში და ეს ოცნება WPT მომისრულა.
We wish you the best of luck in Las Vegas in December. Perhaps one more dream will come true, and I'll see you there.
Another big series that recently wrapped up was in Florida, the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Open. The SHRPO, SHRPO, takes place every year in August. It's a big one. And one of the biggest tournaments was event number 43, the $5,300 SHRPO Championship. 889 players, $4.3 million in the prize pool. And it was a familiar face getting it done. Jake Cody taking it down for $510,000. Did a three-way deal that included Jeremy Wine, who got $450,000, and Stephen Song, who we were just talking about, took third for $438,000. So Stephen Song gets this $438K, flies across the world to the WPT Cyprus, and then grinds here, and also is going to be a shooting star bounty at the Bay 101 in October. So congratulations to all those guys. Jake Cody just continues to crush it. A triple crown winner, which is very rare in this industry. It actually reminds me, like when I think Jake Cody, if you've been around as long as I have, like, this is the grown-up version of Jake Cody. The young emo version of Jake Cody, if you remember, I probably got some pictures that I can show. I don't know. He's just like always going to be that emo kid in my brain, but there's no doubting that he is an absolute crusher when it comes to poker, as is Shannon Shorr, who, Alabama's all-time money leader, was down at the SHRPO, and he won the $25,500 high roller tournament, 44 entries, over $1 million in the prize pool. He took it down for $352,000 after a heads-up deal with Cherish Andrews, who was the defending champ. So she gets $318,000 in a nice showing. It was the fourth Seminole Hard Rock victory for Shannon Shorr, who, of course, has just been killing it lately. I think it was 2 years ago or so. There's a great piece by Lance Bradley who talked to Shannon Shorr about him giving up drinking, getting sober, and the results since then have really spoken for themselves. So I know Shannon, awesome guy. Once climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. I did an interview with him about that, and if he can conquer that, he can conquer anything. So congratulations to Shannon Shorr on getting it done down there at the Seminole Hard Rock. That's going to do it for this week's tournament winners. We're going to have a lot more in next week's episode. As I mentioned, we're also going to talk about Jack McClelland, who unfortunately has passed away, the Poker Hall of Famer, and whatever other stories come up. I will be back in the United States, so it'll be easier for me to call in and be there with Mike in studio and whatever guest we might be able to find. And remember, you can win your way to the World Tournament of Slots via our giveaway. There is going to be some social media posts, some articles. I'm going to link to it in the show notes. This is your chance to win a trip for two to the Bahamas and a seat into the World Tournament of Slots where you could win $1 million. This is a free opportunity for a 1 in 500 shot at $1 million. So please enter in that. I can't wait to announce who our winner is going to be on September 15th. So I'm going to wrap things up here at the WPT Cyprus. For Mike Holtz back at Level 9 Studio, Eric Baldwin for joining us. I'm Chad Holloway. We'll be back next week. And until then, we'll keep a seat open for you.